Here we are. Hello, hello. Good morning, Nancy. Good morning, Carolyn, Michael, and Stevie, the regulars. Good morning, my regulars. How are you all doing? That's how I have to approach this life. Kathy. Oh, good. So great to have you. Say hi to Dennis for me. So here we are. Here we are. Last week, I think it was this class. Oh no, I don't know what it was. I find that whenever I do a lot of stretching, people are always like, "Oh my God, that was so great." And I remember I used to love that too. And I do try to put in a lot of stretching and then also strengthening because it's really important that we keep ourselves strong as we're aging. And today I walked like 3.5 miles today and I haven't done that in a while. And I feel it. I'm like, wow, walking is really amazing. And you might not think it, but it really, really is. I mean, yoga is great too, of course, but walking is so great. And so I saw a neighbor, and she was talking about her sister who's not really moving much and she's kind of sedentary and she's getting older. And I said, this is what you have to tell your sister, that we go from being a juicy grape to a raisin as we age. That's what's happening. Dehydration and oxidation are the two main aspects of the aging process. And visually, think about your tissue going from a juicy, moist grape to a raisin. And I think that when we think of that, it's like, whoa, I do not want to be a raisin. So today I would like to focus on not being a raisin. And then I think you could see this here. I just cut my roses down. You know, you have to do that in the winter, which is another amazing thing. When you cut your roses down, you actually force them, or you, I don't know, like contain their energy. When you cut them, it's so amazing. You cut these stalks all pretty low down, and then this powerful surge of life force energy and the desire to live and to flower just explodes in March and April. And it's just amazing what the roses are like in that very first bloom with all that energy. So I cut down all my roses yesterday, and I took these out. And I usually don't cut flowers very often. I don't know. My yoga teacher said, like, you're cutting the life off when you cut them. So I haven't really been cutting my flowers. But these I brought in here. I wanted to share them with you today. Aren't they beautiful, the different varieties? And I know you can't smell, but this one right here, not only does it look really stunning and beautiful, it actually smells decadent. And this one is called Tequila Sunrise. It's going to open up. So Michael, the surfer, there's some Tequila Sunrise. And this one is one of my absolute favorites because it opens up and it's cream inside and pink on the outside. So anyway, I'm going to leave them over here. And so you'll have that to, oh my gosh. I don't know if you could see the water mess I just spilled. I'm not going to be on it, so it's okay. All right, so Kathy, thanks for sharing that about back and hips. Definitely going to do some hip stuff today as well. And yeah, aren't they beautiful? They're really pretty. Hi, Lauren. Nice to have you. All right, so I'm going to go back to my post. Go back over there so we could start doing our thing. I'm going to turn off my phone so I am not disturbed. All right. Let's go. It's not so comfortable walking around on your knees, that's for sure. All right. So let me start over here. All right. So this practice is going to be the grape practice because we do not want to be raisins. And as we age, fortunately, unfortunately, whatever, just is what it is. Oxidation and dehydration are two main things that happen in our body. And dehydrated tissue, think about it, it's like hydration of a grape is nice and juicy and plump. And when a grape is dehydrated, it turns into a raisin. So we are going to move our bodies because motion is lotion. And we are going to move the body. And especially today, we're going to focus on the joints. Because when we move the joints, we actually release fluids in the joints that make them nice and mobile. And then when you stretch your tissues, you actually release water molecules or moisture in the tissues, in the surrounding tissue of the muscles. So today's practice is a great practice. Not just a great practice, but a great practice. So really, really, I want you to have that visual with you. And so we are going to begin today in a seated position, and then we'll do some work on the floor. And for the floor, you're going to need a block and a strap, or something similar to those. Always a blanket is a great prop to have, so have your blanket here with you today. I have a yoga prop, so this is actually a bolster that I have, and I'm going to put this here to elevate myself, especially because it's the beginning of the practice and because we're going to be seated. So the hips are not quite as moist or lubricated yet, or the other word would be open. Like a lot of people are always like, I want my hips to be more open. And also the tissues of the trunk, the belly, and the back. So having that elevation is going to be a little bit more comfortable. So grab a few pillows or something. And if you have a bolster, go ahead and grab a bolster. And then I like to put the blanket. I'm going to open up my blanket and put my blanket so it's not so tall, because I don't really need that. But then this will be really nice for supporting the ankle joint when I bend my knees. So coming onto your seat, coming onto a bolster or folded up blankets or pillows, whatever it is that you've gathered, go ahead and gather it. And the test here is this. The test is that the knees, where are your knees? So this is the femur bone, largest bone in the body, the upper thigh bone. And if your hips are tight, you might be like this. And also if your hips and back area are tight, you might be a little rounded in your posture here, putting a lot of pressure forward in your spine. So if you elevate yourself, you set yourself up for success. And you allow your hips to be a little bit more either in line here, moving downward towards the ground, or at the very minimum, just not so high up. And then especially that round back and that pulling that happens on the back and the glutes and the whole posterior chain of the body when there is a lot of tightness in the body. So find something to sit on. Hopefully you've gathered all your items at this point. You've set yourself up. And then when you do that, I'd like us to arrive and to come here to this moment, to shift from human doings, which is what we're always in a state of human doing, and to come to the place of human being. So go ahead and close your eyes. Take your palms, rest your palms on your thighs. Slide your hands back down your thighs so that your elbows come underneath your shoulders and even a little farther back, so that you feel something happening in the upper back. And then do a little bit of a forward-backward sway with your body weight so that you actually start to become aware of the forward and the backward. And if you bring your awareness down into your belly area or the place on either side of your spine, you may start to notice a little bit of muscular action when you go forward and backwards. And those muscles, those deep core muscles, stabilizing muscles of the trunk, will activate when you move forward and backward. So starting to really get to the very center of you, the very center of your body, activating a little bit of stabilizing muscles to move. The hip joint is what's moving here. And so you're getting a little bit of lubrication to come in your hips to start to slowly coax some moisture into your body. Turning on the faucet a little bit to get some moisture to come in. And then find center with the eyes closed. Find center, find alignment. When we're in alignment, that's when we have no wear and tear in our joints, or very minimal wear and tear on the joints. So that would minimize the need for osteophytes and bone spurs to be created or built. And what they are made of are minerals and other substances. And the minerals are stored in our bones. We want to keep the minerals in our bones to have nice, good, dense, strong quality bones. And we want to have nice joints so that we minimize pain and discomfort and don't have the need for our joints to create rough surfaces or jaggy edges. These minerals, like calcium, are very jagged minerals too. So they actually can contribute to pain in the joint spaces. So let's find that alignment in our body. Your spine is like 26 teacups. 2 of them are embedded in the pelvis. Saucer, teacup, saucer, teacup, saucer, teacup, saucer, teacup, saucer, teacup, all the way up to the base of the skull. So find that alignment. Imagine that your teacups are filled with a beautiful herbal tea. And you don't want to spill any tea out the front, the sides, or the back. This postural awareness will serve you well in your life on a daily basis to find the alignment and the arrangement of your spine, to feel your body weight distribution, to know where you are in space. Take the back of your head where your spine ends and your skull begins. Push your head back, slightly tucking your chin down as if there was a hook right behind you that you could actually lift yourself on and put yourself on. So you find length in your spine, you find a little bit more support, and maybe a little activation of the postural muscles in the upper back and neck in a nice way. And then take another breath. Bring your awareness to your eyes and gently allow your eyes to blink themselves open. So that daily postural awareness is huge for reducing the wear and tear in the joints, for keeping the minerals in the bones, and for keeping you out of pain and discomfort. So bring your legs forward for a second because they were bent. So we created a little bit of like a hose that you kink and then you unwind it. So just letting your legs be, and then you're going to bring your legs like as if you were going to cross them again. And the one that came in is the one that always comes in. So you're going to switch that out. You're going to take the other leg and bring the other leg in and cross your legs. And then if for any reason the cross leg position does not feel comfortable for you, you could come into soles of the feet together. And the farther away you put your feet from your body, that might actually, you'll notice that'll set you up for a little bit of a nicer position. So we're going to do a breath that is going to move our body and open up the lungs and expand the lungs in all the ranges of motion and actually move the spine as well. So you're either in your Baddha Konasana or you're bringing your legs back into Sukhasana, easy seat. Crisscross applesauce if you are a preschooler or a grandparent or whatever of a preschooler. They tell the kids crisscross applesauce. So, all right. Bring yourself back. So we're going to do a breath here to warm up our body, to warm up our lungs. You're going to first, the very first one, we're going to inhale. We're going to take the backs of our hands onto our forehead. And then you press your heart forward, elbows go to the side. You come into an extension or a back bend. You're not pushing with your hands. Your hands are resting there. The elbows are pushing back. And that helps to open up the chest and get a beautiful stretch in the front of your chest. And we're going to exhale down. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. And let's do a few of these. Exhale down. Inhale up. Slowly. I'd like you to push your chest forward. And if you could close your eyes and do this and feel what it feels like. See if you could feel the stretch at the front of your spine where your ribs are. There's 12 vertebrae there. And even the neck. Can you feel the neck spine open in the front and the thoracic spine where the ribs are attached open in the front? Let's do a few more. Go a little bigger if you can. Maybe you start to feel the muscles along the side of the neck. And do what's appropriate. When your eyes are closed, you could look inside to make sure whatever you're doing is appropriate and bring yourself back. I want to share with you that when I go a little bit bigger with my extension, I feel the stretch from my muscles along my neck, all the way lining the base of my jaw. So there is a pulling that's happening on my jawbone there, more than I did yesterday, the day before, because I wasn't doing this. And bones will get stronger if you pull on them or push on them. And so all of even stretching, if you do a really big stretch, you're gonna be pulling on bones and some that you're not used to. So take that into account and only go to what is your range of motion. This can be done in a chair, by the way, as well. So if sitting in this position is uncomfortable, come into some other position. The next one we're going to do is we're going to lengthen our lungs to the side, really breathing wide. Think of your lungs getting wider. And when we exhale, we're going to come over our chest and squeeze our arms towards our chest. Don't round your spine forward. Don't let your lower ribs come closer to the spine, but rather inhale to open and exhale to hug yourself, keeping your spine nice and long. Your teacups are stacked. They're filled with tea in the teacups. You don't want to spill it out the edge. You inhale to open, and as you open, feel your lungs getting wider. Breathe in through your nose, keep your mouth closed. You exhale to hug yourself. Inhale to open. Feel the expansion of your chest. Exhale. See if you could put the other forearm on top. So switching the forearms. Inhale to open. Exhale. Last one. The slower you go, the harder it is, the more muscular work you're doing in terms of strengthening your joints, especially your shoulders. And then go ahead and bring you down. So much is happening here. That slow movement is going to lengthen your shoulders, strengthening your deltoids, your shoulder muscles, strengthening that joint for support of that joint. So go slow, be okay with that. The next one we're going to do is we're going to lengthen our lungs from top to bottom. So you're going to feel that you're stretching your lungs, and we're going to be stretching our torso. Take your hands down to the side, take a big exhale. You're going to inhale to lift your arms up. When you get up as high as you can, let's bend the elbows. Let the hands or the arms rest on the head for the exhale. And then inhale, lengthen your hands up. Feel that stretch in your torso. Pull the low ribs away from the pelvis and exhale to lower. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. I feel my shoulder blades moving in the back of my body. Inhale, palms up, stretch your arms. Stretch whatever you can. Inhale. Create grapes all over your body, no raisins. Bring moisture into as many tissues as you can. Inhale. Exhale to rest. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale to lower. Inhale. Feel that heat in your shoulders. The muscles are working. Inhale, lengthen your torso. Last one. Exhale to lower. Inhale. Exhale. Keep the front of your body open. Inhale to lengthen. Keep your spine nice and long. Exhale to lower. And then bring yourself down. Take your legs straight. They say that the health of the individual can be determined by the health of their spine. And this is even attributed back to Greece, to before Common Era, or whatever word you call that. Before Common Era, after Descendants, or whatever it is. So even back then, they were talking about how the health of the individual was determined by their spine. This is lung work, spinal work, deep going inside your body using breath. And then let's take the soles of the feet together in Baddha Konasana. Bring your soles close to your body. Hold onto your ankles. Push your knees down. Lengthen your spine. Push your pelvis into the bolster or whatever you're sitting on. Find length in your spine. Push your heart forward here. Stretching here, the adductors, the inner thighs. This is good for knee health because this muscle group attaches onto the inner knee and onto the pelvis. If you feel a nice stretch here, you're pulling on your pelvic bones, creating a little stimulation in your pelvis for your bones to remodel. You're asking for more than usual, and that means your bones will be getting stronger for you when you do that. Every day you ask for more and you get it. You bring yourself forward. It's the only way that the bones can get stronger is they need the building blocks and they need the mechanical forces to demand more on them. So bringing your body forward without rounding your spine, bending deep at that hip will do that for you. We all need to have strong, good quality bones. We all need that, especially in this hip region and in our spine. And then bring yourself forward. You're going to take your legs really nice and long, pointing your toes and flexing, pointing and flexing, point and flex. So we're coming to the ankle joint and to the feet. So when you go forward, can you feel your feet curling? Feel that roll in the feet and then flex. And then come a little bit wider. You're going to open your feet towards the floor, and then you're going to bring your big toes in towards each other, to the floor, and then towards each other. The goal is towards the floor. And then take your hands on your bolster so you can lift yourself up. Make sure your front spine is nice and long. And then go ahead and bring yourself back. We're going to warm up now the hips a little deeper. Warm up the low back area, this whole area of your body, which is the part of us that helps to hold us up, support us, good for fall prevention, and good for posture and alignment, which is really important. Hands around the thighs. You're going to inhale your body forward. You're going to push your body over to one side. Feel that opposite side stretch. You could put your hand here and then push your belly button back towards your spine. Move over towards the other side. And then when you start to come forward, inhale, open your throat, open your chest. Add a little extension or a little back bend. When you come back here, push your belly back. Let the low back move back. Not really the, don't round your upper spine, especially if you have osteoporosis. You're going to inhale when you come forward, and you're going to exhale when you go back. Close your eyes. Feel where you're stretching your body. This is a lot of hip stretching, especially in the back of the hip joint area. Low back, low spine. Keep your spine nice and long as you slowly, meditatively breathe and move your body as if you were in water or even a little resistance, like a lot of honey or pudding. Healthy, gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free pudding. Maybe made with avocados and cacao powder. Good nutrition. Inhale forward. And start to go a little wider so you feel that stretch when you move over toward the sides. And then finish the circle that you're on. And do one more big circle. Get nice and tall here. Come back to center. Inhale, chest comes forward like you're a proud buck in the forest meeting another buck. Being proud, or a proud peacock. Go in the opposite direction. Find your rhythm. Find the circle. Find the appropriate stretch. Find the appropriate movement as your upper torso moves around. Inhale when your body's forward. Exhale when your body moves towards the back. Finishing the circle that you're on, and then take one more circle. Bringing yourself all the way back to center. Bring yourself back to center. Come all the way up. You can gently open your eyes. There's something very meditative for humans with movement and the circular pattern. A lot of cultures use a circular pattern of movement, a rhythm to bring into their body and their mind. Take your legs straight for a second. We'll do a little bit more to warm up the spine here in the seated position. Try to make it as meditative as possible, meaning that you breathe with the movement and you put your body in a position that's not too uncomfortable for you. So if bringing your legs into the crisscross position is okay for you, do that. or you can bring yourselves into the soles together, which might be a little bit better for you and your body. I know for myself, when I had my hip issues, it wasn't always comfortable to sit like this. So the other thing to say is if any of you have any hip issues or you're feeling tight, also supporting your knees with a block so that the weight of this leg doesn't pull or create too much tension for you in your hip joint can be a really nice way to take care of yourself and still get all this movement in your body. So getting blocks if you need to support one hip or two, depending on what your needs are. I used to support my one hip all the time. It's the only way I could really sit like this for years. So you have to do what's appropriate for you. Then we're gonna stretch our body here in a lateral or a side movement. So we're gonna bring ourselves into this lateral side to side position and finding whatever you can do. So if you have shoulder issues, you may need to do this, bringing the hand on top of the shoulder, bringing the elbow up, really lengthen the side of your body, whether the elbow is up or the arm is up, lengthening that side of your body, stretching your body, really important. You taking care of you. Motion is lotion, preventing and warding off future pain, discomfort, and breakdown in your body so that you can live as happily and healthy as you can for this whole life that you have. The next time you come to one side, stay there. Try to keep your arm up high and not rounded. So bring your arm alongside your ear, even maybe looking up to the sky to make sure that you can see in front of that arm that's up in the sky. If the head or neck is uncomfortable, you could turn the head down towards the hand or look straight ahead. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself up. Let's go to the other side. Bending the elbow that's on the ground or pushing away from the ground, whatever feels appropriate for you. Come up onto whatever's appropriate for you. This is lateral flexion, and this is good for those of you with back issues because it helps to stretch the tissues in between the lower rib cage and the top of the pelvis. These are the muscles that rotate your trunk, stabilize your trunk, and these are some of these are the back muscles. So stretching your back here is what's happening in a safe way, especially if you have bone density loss or especially osteoporosis. Bring yourself all the way up and bring yourself out. Let's take the legs. I'm giving you these leg breaks. I personally don't need to do them. And when I do my own practice, I don't always bring my legs out like this, but I know for some of you, you may need to. And so I'd like you to have that option to bring the legs out. Let's go ahead, crisscross the legs again. We're going to do some rotation while we're here. While we have our pelvis locked in, we'll be able to rotate the spine. One of the best ways to stimulate spinal growth or stronger bones in the spine is with rotation. As long as you are lengthened, not flexed. If you're in a flexed position, it's not good to be rotating on the front of your spine bones. But if your spine bones are on top of each other, it's great because the muscles of the spine attach at so many different places. So when you rotate and pull on your vertebra, you actually can help make stronger vertebra. So we all want that. So let's begin here, starting in the neck. You're going to look side to side. Only the neck is moving, not the heart, not the rib cage, not the chest. Try to isolate the spinal movement in the neck, feeling what feels appropriate for you, noticing what you notice here, a little rotational force side to side. It's the most, these muscles, the seven cervical spine bones they have the most rotation in them out of the whole spine, the actual bones to rotate. They have the joints that allow a lot of rotation. Bring yourself back to center. We're going to start to bring our rib cage along for the ride. So you could use your hands. You could have on your hands on your bolster, hands on your legs. If you let your hand go behind you in the bolster, it's safer and it actually opens up that chest a little more. So you're going to now let your entire rib cage and your head look towards the side. And you can use your opposite hand to help give you a little bit of traction. Your hand on the bolster gives you traction and length. And this one gives you a little bit of force to go a little deeper. Make sure it's from the lower ribs on up that's rotating, and you'll feel your back. These are back muscles. These are muscles that rotate the trunk. So feel what feels appropriate. This is core. This is your core that you're stretching, part of your core. And see if you can feel any bones move. See if you can feel any new alignment coming into your spine, like a self-chiropractic adjustment. When you get to one side, you can hold for a breath or two. And then bring yourself back to the other side. Breathe. And bring yourself back to center. Let's do a little bit of neck stuff before we move off of this position. Keep your teeth together. Spine is long. 26 teacups stacked on top of each other, full to the top with tea. You don't want your tea to spill out the front, the back, or the sides. Nice alignment here. Keep your teeth together. Now, the 7 bones of the neck, we're going to spill our tea forward and backwards. Keep your teeth together. Take an inhale. Exhale, tuck your chin down towards your chest. Inhale, teeth are together. Chin up towards the sky. It's nice if you close your eyes here. Elbows underneath your shoulders, so slide your elbows back to help support you in the seated position. Exhale, chin to chest. Bring yourself up last time. And then bring yourself back to neutral. Little lateral side movement here. Spilling the tea out the sides, one side and the other. Tip of the ear. Bring your awareness to your tip of your ear. Push the tip of your ear straight up towards the sky. And then bring yourself back up. The tip of the ear straight up towards the sky. If you'd like, you can inhale and exhale to come back to center. Inhale. Exhale back to center. Last one. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's go ahead, bring ourselves off of the pillows, whatever you had, pillows or whatever it was. And then fold your blanket. If you took your blanket into the lighter fold, bring your blanket into the stronger fold. Bring yourself onto all fours. And then take your hands forward and wide, knees wide, tops of the feet flat. Let's move around in our joints here. So just move a little side to side here, then your whole side body push to the side. Let the side of your hip go, side of the shoulder go. Come back to center. You're going to go forward and back, forward and back. And then we're going to turn this into a big circle. So bring yourself forward, push yourself to one side, push yourself back, push yourself to the other side, forward, side, back. Rolling around in your shoulders and in your hips. Make sure it feels okay for you. If you have issues in those joints, be in those joints. And then bring yourself back to center. Go in the opposite direction. Bring yourself back to center. Take your hands forward. Pointer fingers are forward. Spread your fingers. Push yourself back so your tushy stays in the air. Your hips are what's bending. The low belly is coming closer to the top thighs, and the head is coming towards the floor. Inhale to bring yourself up. Come into an extension position. Exhale to go back. So you're stretching the back of the body, and even the sides of the body, and the armpits get stretched here in this puppy dog. And then when you come forward into this cow or extension. Make a real big strong divot in your back, like so that water could pool in your back, pushing your chest towards the floor, stretching the front of the belly area. Exhale to come back. Sometimes if you have low back pain or discomfort, it's because of a lot of tension in the upper body. So definitely getting a lot of deep armpit, chest, and upper spine stretching. When you come into the puppy dog, lengthening your spine, stretching your spine, coming into the cow posture, which is a spinal extension, stretching the front of the body, especially down by the belly, by the sides of the spine. Bring yourself back, and then bring yourself all the way up. Bring yourself all the way up for a second. This next stretch we're going to do stretches the whole upper back shoulder area. And I'm going to show you this right now, and then we'll go down on the ground and do it. But basically what happens is when we come down, we take the hand underneath the body, and we're really stretching this whole part of the body. We're going to be on the floor when we do this. It's called a figure 4, because it kind of looks like a number 4, or it's called thread the needle when you bring your body forward. But you're basically taking this top part of your torso and you're trying to twist your torso to the side. So if you had flashlights on your hips and flashlights on your heart, whenever the heart flashlights are in one direction and the hip flashlights are in the other, when the hip flashlights are forward and the heart goes to the side, that means your spine is rotating. So we're going to get that upper spinal rotation, stretching the thoracic spine where the ribs are attached. And this is a really great stretch for the shoulder area, the back of the upper back, the shoulders. So nice to release tension. And sometimes if you do have lower back discomfort, it might be coming from your body trying to hold itself up all day, whatever it is you're doing, especially the times you're under the most stress. So let me show you this. You're going to take your hand forward and you slide the opposite hand under and you bring it. So now I'm trying to turn my chest in this direction where my hand is, and my hip lights are still pointing down towards the ground. So try to find this in your body. Sometimes putting your head on a bolster or pillow may be more comfortable. The head is on the floor. The back of the hand is on the floor. And you have this upper arm. You could actually come onto a pentapod, all 5 tips or 4 fingertips and 1 thumb tip, and press away from the ground to get even more rotation in the upper trunk. And the tailbone is moving back. So push your heart forward, rotate, rotate, rotate. And then take deep breaths. Take one more breath. Then you're going to bring yourself up. You're going to bring the other hand forward. You're going to take your palm. You're going to slide your palm through. Slide, slide, slide. Bring yourself down towards the ground. The head reaches to the ground. You come onto your fingertips and thumb tip. And you press that arm into the ground. Feel that stretch in the upper back shoulder blade area. Stretching the shoulder blade away from the spine. Try to push your heart forward. Take one more breath. Bring yourself forward. Bring yourself all the way up. So we are going to stretch our shoulders or move our shoulders here now. So take your hands on your shoulders. Stay up here, or if you'd like to come and sit down on your heels, if your knees will let you, you could do that. And if you are up here and it feels a little bit that there's a balance challenge, that's good, because we're actually working on balance when you're up here, right? Your hips have to figure out, where are you? If you take your legs a little wider, it may feel a little bit more comfortable. Closer legs are together, more challenge it is for balance. So see what feels appropriate for you. Hands are on the shoulders. Inhale. As you exhale, chin comes to the chest, elbows come towards each other, elbows come up, throat opens. Feel that stretch of the low ribs moving away from the pelvis. Exhale down, inhale up and open. Imagine that you have Sharpie markers on the ends of your elbows, and you are making the biggest circle possible that you can with your Sharpie marker. Not rounding your spine, letting your neck be what comes down, your spine stays nice and long, not spilling any tea out of your teacups. And then go ahead and stop. Take your arms to the side. Let's take a big inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Really feel those lower ribs moving. Feel that stretch right here. And then go ahead and bring yourself down. Okay. So a lot of spinal work so far, getting your spine nice and lengthened and all of that. Now we're going to do a spinal balance, which is going to strengthen the back of the body. So you're going to take the hands forward, and you're going to take one leg back, one leg forward, look straight down. So the tip of your nose points down. You're going to exhale, inhale, raise your arm, raise your leg as high as they can go. You can let your gaze follow here. So you get as much of the extension that comes into your spine, and then come back to neutral. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Now we're going to add a little core work to this. Inhale. As you exhale, bring your elbow towards your knee and your knee towards your elbow. If you have osteoporosis, only bring the knee in and keep your arm straight. So osteoporosis, you keep the arm straight and you bring your knee in, so it's the lower body that does the flexion and not the upper body. If you don't have osteoporosis, you can come into the flexion. One more. And then come back to neutral, take your hand down, slide that hand away, probably thank goodness, right? Lots of work for that hip and that shoulder area. Exhale, inhale to lift, head follows, exhale to lower. Inhale to lift, exhale to lower. Inhale, exhale. We're going to add the core. Inhale, exhale, knee to elbow, elbow to knee, or just the knee if you have osteoporosis. One more. Go ahead and bring yourself down. Take yourself off. Shake your wrists. So the wrist joint got pretty strengthened there, along with shoulder joint, core, the whole lower part of the core, the hip flexors. Psoas was involved with that. And we need all that to keep our body healthy, to keep that's all supportive stuff for the back. I like to stretch the wrists. So you could do this where you take your arm across, keep your arm straight, bend your wrist down, and flip your wrist up. So that's an option to do that. Or you could come where you put the backs of the hands on the floor. This is much more intense and not everybody can do this. So you either are doing this one or this one, adding weight to that. So once you start to get pretty limber in your wrists, you can add a little bit of weight, which deepens the stretch. Whenever we add weight, we stretch a little more. Wrists are a very important part of our body to keep strong because they're very prone to fracture. It's the number one fracture site on the body. And then let's take our hands. Now you bring your palms onto the floor. Fingers face you, and you move your body back, and you'll feel a stretch on the forearms. And then if anybody has any scoliosis in their body, that's a diagonal pattern rotation of the spine. You may notice a little stretch on one side more than the other. And if you need to be up here, you take your hands and you do your hand like this, palm facing away, pulling the fingers towards you. So just whatever you can do, because motion is lotion. And then go ahead and bring yourself out. We're going to do a 1 minute power pose, something I think is a really great thing to do. A 1 minute pose that has a lot of benefit in it. This one is going to be a dolphin plank. So we did come off of a lot of weight bearing stuff for the front body. So that's definitely more of that. Very supportive of spinal alignment, posture, stability, fall prevention, and back health, and bone health. So take your block like this. Your block goes like this, and if you don't have a block, your arms are in this space here, where the elbows are not out to the side, but rather in, so that they can be supported. Bring yourself forward, forward, forward. Bring your elbows onto the floor. Take your knees farther away from you. And this is a modification of dolphin. So you could stay here and dig your knees into the ground and try to draw them up towards your hands. You could do that. Or you could flip the toes under and take your knees off. Push your weight back if you brought your knees off. Push your weight back. And then push your hands into the floor. Push your feet into the floor. Make sure your pinky toes are pressing into the floor. Your elbows, your palms. Feel the power. Feel the demand. One more breath. And then bring yourself down. Oh boy. Definitely a challenge. Now you're in a Sphinx pose, stretching your belly. Let's make sure that your pelvis is on your blanket, so move back if you need to. Take your block out to the side. Stretch your spine, push your chest forward, push your rib cage forward, and bring yourself down. Bring your head to the mat. Take your hands alongside you. The palms are on the ground. The fingers are facing backwards and the elbows are in at the side of your body. Walk your feet together so the big toes touch. The soles of the feet are pointing up towards the sky. Take an exhale. And as you inhale, lengthen your trunk and lift your upper body off the ground. Exhale to lower. You may not go high. It's okay. Inhale up. Exhale down. Feel the muscles in the back of your body activate when you do this. Push the pubis bone into the floor when you begin, that front lower part of your lower torso in the front. And then come up. Feel the strength of your muscles activate. And then lower down. Take your arms, fold your arms, elbows are wide and pretty high. Hands are on top of each other. Take the legs really wide. Wiggle your pelvis back and forth and rest your forehead on top of your back of your hand. And then bend your knees. Take your legs really wide and let your legs go gently side to side, releasing that tension in the low back.
And then let your legs be as wide as your mat. Let your toenails be pointing towards the corners or all the way to the corners of the mat. You're going to take a big exhale, breathing in through your nose, breathe down to your belly. And try to push your belly towards the floor. Feel the whole lower part of your torso get wide as you breathe down towards your belly. And feel the back stretch. Last breath. Go ahead and bring yourself onto your side. Checking in here with your back, checking in here with your spine, feeling and noticing what's happening in your back. Notice what's happening in the upper back, just exploring how you're feeling now. Let's take your hand, bring your hand on the floor in front of you. We're going to push and not pull away from the floor. So you're going to push away from the ground, not lift up with your head. You're going to let your head be low and use muscles, maybe for some of you, muscles you don't use very often, pushing away and starting to, or actually raising awareness of how important it is to use those pushing muscles for healthy aging. All right, so we're going to go down onto our backs. You're going to take your blanket and bring your blanket up to the top of the mat. We are going to do some twisting here, which is great for low back. And if you do have your bolster, I'll show you with a bolster, you could do this with pillows if you have pillows. It's really great to support your body into a twist, because when we do the twist, and especially when we're on the ground and we put our legs over to the side, it's amazing for the low back if it's done correctly. And it can be very uncomfortable for the low back and even trigger spasms or contraction in the low back if it's done incorrectly. Heart lights, hip lights. Hip lights, heart lights. When the heart lights move in a direction that's away from the forward direction of the hips, that's spinal rotation. When you're on the ground and your legs go to the side, it's happening a lot in the low back area. And there's not really the joints on the low spine for rotation. So having a bolster or something is going to be really supportive. I'd like to definitely talk you through that when we get to that part. Let's come on to the tushy. Legs are wide, arms, hands are to the side. Closer the hands are, and the more they face forward, a little bit more wrist work and arm work if you want that. If that's not okay for you, turn your hands out to the side. But what I'd like you to make sure is that you're not collapsing your chest. Let's go a little deeper here in the spine, in the hips. Get some nice lubricating. Turn on the fire hose in the hips. Let your knee come in. You might be sliding down the mat. Roll through your buttocks. Feel that. Even give yourself a tushy massage because you're sitting on the tush. So a little tushy massage. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's come to the side. Let's take the hand, reach the hand of the way, and bring yourself all the way down onto the ground. Take your arms out to the side. If you could bend your elbows and bring them so that they're directly off your shoulders, that's good. And if your shoulders don't let you, you could be a little lower. But I want wherever you are, I'd like you to experience some stretch that's happening here in the chest. Take your feet mat distance and keep the soles of the feet on the floor at first. So the soles of the feet stay on the floor. You're not rocking onto the pinky toe edge or big toe edge. I know that's a little hard. It requires some self-restraint that we don't always have with our bag of bones as we throw them around throughout our day without awareness. So keep the soles of the feet on the floor, warming up your hips, bringing a little bit of rotation into the low back safely, introducing that sensation to the back. Then start to see what happens if you go a little farther and now the soles do come off the floor. And you go a little farther, close your eyes, be in your low back. Is this okay for your back? Do you feel this in the front of your hips? Do you feel this up your waist? Close your eyes and feel it. Bring yourself back to center. Take your feet off the mat and start to go side to side. This is called windshield wiper. I think it's one of the most therapeutic movements we could do for our body. It feels yummy. You could do it in the morning when you wake up. You could do it before bed if you needed to release tension. Do it when you're having an acute back pain episode without letting the tushy leave the floor if you're in an acute low back pain, so that you keep it in the hip joint. When the tushy comes away from the ground, you're in rotation. So make sure that's okay for your back. The next time your legs go to one side, keep them there. Let your head go in the opposite direction and take that arm opposite of the direction of your legs off the ground and stretch your body glove. Stretch your skin suit. Press your heart forward, deepen that stretch. Now you get the whole side line of your body. A lot of strong connective tissue here. Stretching hydrates. Motion is lotion. Be a grape, not a raisin. Inhale. And then exhale to come back to center slowly. Let's go to the other side as you slowly let your legs go to the other side. Let your head go opposite direction of your legs. Take that hand off the ground, flex, and reach, stretch. Press your heart forward. Really stretch yourself as much as you can. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself all the way out. Walk your knees and your feet back to neutral. Draw your knees in. Take hold of your knees, draw them in. Let the low back press into the ground and side to side. Feel the top edge of your pelvis pressing into the ground. Take your right ankle over your left ankle. Bring your head up between your legs. Take your arms to the outside. Grab hold of your feet. Pull the feet towards the sides. push the legs towards the body, lower your head down. And with this, side to side, you'll probably feel the outer hip joint stretch on one side. The side that's on the bottom of the legs, you may actually feel the hip joint stretch a little there as you go into this external rotation. I would say that this is a good position for those that experience sciatic pain and even low back. Bring your legs out of that position. Take your left leg on top of your right leg. Lift your head up. Take your hands to the outside. Hold onto your feet. Legs go to the side. Push your legs towards your body. Lower yourself down. And then a little side to side here. Stretching the low back. And then bring yourself out. Take your hands on top of your knees. So bring your hands from above, open up your palms, hold on to your entire kneecap. So you're not to the sides, you're holding from above, and then push your legs away from you where you go to the place where your hands start to take over and your legs can turn off. So the legs are, you're holding them, if you let go, it would fall, right? So that I didn't just push my leg to the floor, that happened because you're turning off your hip flexors, and that's important. The hip flexors, one of them, the psoas, is attached to the low back. So it pulls on the lower spine, and we want to kind of release that here. Inhale. As you exhale, draw your knees straight in towards your chest. Inhale to move your arms away. Straight in towards your chest. So you're passively moving the lumbar spine here. You're tilting the pelvis backwards, bringing it back to neutral, tilting it back. And that's going to passively move the lumbar spine because the spine begins in the pelvis or ends in the pelvis, whichever way you look at it. Let's say it's a circle, it's a continuum. No beginning, no ending. Kind of like the chicken and the egg. And then bring your legs down onto the ground. Let's prepare and have a blanket or a pillow or a bolster handy if you'd like. We're going to come into that rotation. So I'll take the bolster up to the top for a second there. All right. So you're going to walk your feet closer, push your feet into the ground, lift your pelvis up and move your pelvis off to the side. So move your pelvis off to the left, actually, off to the left, and then put your pelvis down on the left. Keep your rib cage on the ground. Draw your knees in, right knee, left knee. And then the arms are out to the side, and you're slowly going to let the legs go to the right. Now here's where the bolster comes in. You might only be able to put your legs on top of the bolster and keep your left shoulder blade on the ground, or you may be able to put the right leg on the ground and put the bolster in between the left and the right. Or you may actually feel better by having your legs touching, if they touch, and keeping the left shoulder blade on the ground. So I'm going to put the bolster in between. And then you're going to take your right hand on top of your left leg and push your left leg towards the ground and point your chest straight up towards the sky. Keep the left shoulder blade on the ground. You can lift the left arm a little higher if you'd like, and then let your head turn to the left. Lengthen your left waist here. Push the top of the pelvis away from you. So you have a nice long left waist. You can think about that top left leg bone. Push that top left leg bone away from you. You'll feel a stretch maybe in a different place. You might even get a little chiropractic adjustment in your spine. Deep breaths down to your spine. Take 5 breaths down to your belly. When you finish that last breath, bring your head up, take your prop out. Go ahead and draw the left leg up, draw the left leg over, let the right leg come up and over. Bring your bolster to the other side, put your feet on the floor, lift your pelvis up, and just go back to neutral for a second. And check in with your body, eyes are closed. Push your feet into the floor, lift your pelvis up, push your pelvis to the right, and place it down. Draw the left leg in, the right leg in. Let your arms be out to the side. Let your legs go over to the side, either resting on a blanket or a bolster or a pillow, or putting it between your knees. Bring your left hand on top, turn your head to the right. Close your eyes and feel what you feel. Notice if this is safe. Go into your low back, especially if you have low back issues, be in your back. Keep that right shoulder blade on the ground. Five breaths here. The end of your fifth breath, bring yourself with the awareness, bring your right leg up towards your chest, rolling towards your back, bring your left leg off, then put your feet on the floor, lift your pelvis up, and come back to a neutral position. Bring your hands onto the blanket. Let's do a little bridge pose here to take out any tension. So a counter pose for the spine is to go to a back bend, take your block between your knees, walk your feet as close as you could get them to your body. Roll from side to side as you tuck the upper arms under, bringing the shoulder blades closer to the spine. Pick your head up, tuck your chin down towards your chest. Press your arms into the ground, or you can bend your elbows. Squeeze the block, let the low back flatten towards the ground. Squeeze the tushy, push your feet into the floor, and let your knees move away from you as you slowly lift up. Squeeze the tushy, squeeze the block. Lift your spine as high as you can. Close your eyes, take 3 breaths here. Squeeze the block, squeeze the tushy. When you finish the 3rd breath, bring yourself down. Take the block out to the side. Bring the blanket back under your head and grab your strap. Bring the strap on both feet. So draw one knee in and then the other. Bring the strap onto both feet and take your legs a little wide here. So they're a little wider than your body. Wrap your hands around your strap. Try to straighten the legs if you can. And if your back feels like it's being pulled on, bend your knees. And then you're going to draw your legs back towards the wall behind you. The low back will probably flatten into the ground. Let's all bend our knees here. So the knees are bent. You're going to be stretching the belly of the hamstring muscle. When the hamstring muscles are tight, they pull on the pelvis and they affect the low back. So really drawing your legs back, feel that stretch in the belly of the hamstring muscle. One more breath. Then take your legs wide. Maybe you need to move down your strap a little. Take your legs really wide here. Hold on to your strap and then bend your knees, draw your knees to your chest. Stretching inner thighs, more hamstrings, some glutes. And if you want to do a tiny, tiny movement side to side. One more breath. And then bring your legs back together. Bend your knees. Take your strap off. Strap to the side, knees to the chest. Notice how your body feels here. We'll come into the posture that allows for the integration of all that you just did during the practice today. We start the practice with one body. We shift our body. We combine the mental energy to the physical. We go into the place of feeling and noticing, raising awareness. And then the last posture we do is called Shavasana, which is for integration. So come in, if you have your blankets or your bolster handy, putting the legs underneath, the bolster underneath the legs is actually really nice and releasing for the low back. Come into whatever variation of Shavasana is appropriate for you. And let everything go. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Let your awareness go up and down your body to notice areas that may feel relaxed, areas where there may be tension. And notice if you did what was appropriate for your body in the practice today, or did you do something a little too much? They call it a practice because we're always practicing taking care of ourselves. It's not something you do and then you're done forever. We're always going to be working on keeping this package we live in healthy and mobile, hydrated and functional. Bring your awareness to your fingers and your toes. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Then draw the knees in towards the chest, rocking side to side. All the way onto the side. And from there, pushing, let your shoulder lead the way. Bring yourself up. Bring yourself into a seated position. Bring your hands together into your chest, eyes are closed. Press your heart to your hands to your heart. Push your body weight forward and backwards until you get to the place where you're perfectly aligned with your weight in the center. Find the 26 vertebra, the 26 teacups filled with tea. Nice alignment. We'll close with a humming sound. Take an exhale to create space. An inhale to fill. Bowing in gratitude to each other. Namaste. So today's practice was very focused on hopefully raising your awareness to so much of your spine and the positioning of your spine, and of course the rest of your body as well, because it's really important to go at your pace and it's important to do something. And that's what's really important. Find whatever the range of motion is in your body. Find where your issues are so you can start to pay attention to them and actually heal them and shift them from where they are. And to keep what we live in healthy and mobile forever so we can live a really full life and do everything we want to do and be independent forever. Have a great day. All right, I'm coming over here. Lauren, great. Good morning. All right. Well, thank you. Hopefully you feel good. Hopefully you didn't do too much. Kathy, I hope there was some relief there for you in your low back. So anyway, thanks guys for visiting me, for joining me, for being here, for participating. You're here. I couldn't be here if you weren't here, right? So I wouldn't do this by myself. And you know what's amazing? Since 2022, since March 2020, right? So almost 2 years, there's always been someone that showed up. Always. So pretty amazing. So thank you for showing up, not just for me, but for you. Stevie, good. Kathy, yes, perfect. Say hi to Dennis for me. Michael, good. You're welcome, everyone. Lauren, Carolyn. All right. Bye, everyone. Off to prepare for my next class. Bye.